What's going on, YouTube? So today we're going to talk about the Gladiator and the wheels that I got here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the wheels. It's completely stock except for the wheels and the upsized tires here, so we're going to go out and do a little bit of testing to see if it clears these fenders on a whole stock setup. Yes, a 35-inch tire will fit stock wheels on a Gladiator, but we have a -12 offset, which makes the tires stick out a little bit further, and the concern is, will it still clear the fender or by tucking inside, or will it actually hit the edge? So, like I said, after the testing and everything like that, I'm going to delve into a little bit about the wheels, about a major flaw, well, a minor flaw, but something that you might want to consider before you buy these wheels. But as they are weld ledge wheels. These are 17-inch by 17-inch wheels by 9.5-inch wide, and then we have a -12 offset on them, which basically makes them stick out a little bit beyond the fenders. I think it gives a really nice stance and everything like that to the Jeep. They do come in multiple colors, but my color scheme, if you guys have watched my other videos, Ruby's got the red wheels, and I figured that this granite crystal metallic and red was a good combination, seeing as Rubicon has red around it. There's red around the edge of the Jeep, and all the red accents all through the inside. So these are not full 35-inch tires. They are actually 315 by 70 R17 tires. So these tires are actually only about 34.4 inches. So let's go take a look at the testing, and we will talk about what we are going to experience. We are at one of the little testing areas next to the dealership here locally. So with that wider offset, the question is whether or not it would still tuck inside the fender there. And that's basically touching. So it looks like the option that I need to do is look at either doing a lift or doing the fender chop kit, which guts the inside of the fenders here. But that's pretty tucked in right there. And then going around to the rear, there's some clearance right there still. This isn't even to the biggest part of the undulations, because the last one over there is a little bit bigger. I think I'm going to try and go ahead and drive through this, because springs are compressed all the way down to the bump stop, so I don't think it's going to go up any more than this. So with the factory wheels, it did go in and rub the inner liner just a little bit, and I think that's about where I am right now. So can you fit 35s on your stock Gladiator with -12 offset and still clear the fenders? I'm gonna say yes. Well, yes with the Rubicon. If you had a sport model or something like that and you had sway bar disconnects that you put in manually, like manual disconnects, it's not gonna clear that fender, because the Rubicon and the Mojaves come with fenders that are about an inch taller than the sports. All right, so I pulled a little bit further into one of the deeper ones here, and you can see there's just a little bit of room. I wanted to check it with clearances on steering, and that's pretty tight. So can you do it? Sure. That's pretty wide open right there. I probably wouldn't run it this way for very long, because I think at some point, if you dropped into one of these holes a little bit too hard, you're probably going to catch it, but ends up clearing it just fine, I guess. Fine-ish in a way. So we got the testing. Surprisingly enough, it actually cleared, but we're talking barely. You can see there's some rubbing right there. There's definitely some rubbing up inside the fenders here. And, you know, this is something that for a short term, we can definitely run this setup. But I need to consider either a lift or what's likely going to happen is I'm going to do the fender chop, which will remove that section right there, gut this out. I'll get new fender liners for the inside, and then I'll get like the Quake LED lights or whatnot that go right here, which will end up chopping about 4 inches off the front here. So can you run this setup completely stock? Absolutely, you can, but you're going to run the risk of lugs, your tire lugs catching and ripping some stuff out. And if you're running a true 35, I really don't think that this setup is going to clear at all. Because again, we saw it catch right here, and if you figure if the tire is another ½ inch taller, which is another 1/4 inch, that's going to be another 1/4 inch that's rubbing into all of these spots right here. So take that into consideration if you do this setup. Now let's talk about the negatives of these wheels. So these wheels from a distance, they look great, but after I got them mounted, I started noticing that inside the red finish is actually really thin. See, it's really thin. Some places are worse than others. Like this one you can see is completely gray. That's not dirt. That is the finish that they have on these wheels. Others have had this to where the red is actually oversprayed onto the black, or the black is oversprayed on the red. Contacted Weld to ask them about this. Maybe I got a defective set. All 4 of my wheels kind of have the same defect. Contacted Weld to see if this was a defect in the finish of the set that I got, and their reply, surprisingly enough, was that is the standard finish for their red wheels. That is okay by them. This is what they designed it to look like. Again, I'm not the only one that have had these wheels like this. I've talked to other people online that have gotten their wheels, sent them back, gotten a new set of wheels, and still had the same blemishes, let's call them. So yes, these are entry-level Weld wheels. These are simulated beadlocks, but you can get this same wheel in a beadlock finish, but you're still having this red finish that has thin spots in it. Well, you know, you guys make awesome forged wheels and everything like that. Again, I understand this is your entry-level wheel, but entry-level or not, quality control definitely needs to be addressed on this. It's not the end of the world for me because this is not my mall crawler. This thing's going to get beat up by rocks and all this other stuff, so it's going to get damaged and cut up and everything like that. So I'm going to keep it. I like the style of the wheel, and from a distance it looks fantastic. But those of you that want a pristine, perfect finish, just be aware of that. On Ruby, the Rubicon, we actually have red wheels from Fuel, and their red finish, Fuel's red finish, is pristine. Like in between all of the spokes, even the drum on the Fuel wheels is this red. It's not thin like this. The barrel of the wheel here on the welds, you can see they don't put this red all the way through the barrel. So again, if you are looking for a pristine, perfect wheel, this may not be your option because that's what you're gonna get. Short video today. Just wanted to cover some basics regarding these wheels and tires. I know it's a common question. Can you fit 35s on a stock Gladiator? Yes, you can. For sure the Rubicon and the Mojaves because they have taller fenders, but you can do 35s on your sports, Willys, Overlands, altitude models, stuff like that, because you don't have the sway bar disconnect and it's not going to go up as much. If you do install a manual sway bar disconnect and you do not have the Mojave or Rubicon fenders, you're going to run into a clearance issue there. But again, the Weld wheels, they're Weld Ledge in the candy red finish. There's your size, offset of -12, hub, which is 71.5, which is exactly what you need for the Jeeps, and the bolt pattern. Anyways, guys, like and subscribe. This build is ongoing. There's going to be a lot more stuff going on with this Jeep. So follow me for more videos regarding the Gladiator, and we still have our JK Wrangler that we are doing a lot of our rock crawling with. This one is our overlanding rig, so we're gonna build it up accordingly. We have our overland tent, which we need to address. Fingers are dirty from the wheels. Which we need to address. Is this something that we are going to mount on the back of that Jeep? Are we gonna tow a trailer? Is it going on the roof? What are we gonna do with all that? How do we address those things? But anyways, thanks again for taking the time to watch the video. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, guys. It's like a walk in the park, isn't it?